I wonder which stock I should focus on this week. Wow, I've had so many amazing comments. So many great suggestions. Wow, look at this variety. Okay, I get it. Zomedica. Hey everybody, Walrus here from Walrus Street. Just a reminder, I am not a financial professional. All information in this video is for entertainment purposes only. An overwhelming number of you guys over the last week have requested that I cover Zomedica, ticker ZOM. Zomedica is a diagnostic company focusing on veterinary clinic, and it's based out of Canada. If you're a Zomedica holder and you're looking for confirmation bias for me to support your holding, this is not the video for you. If you're a Zomedica holder and you're looking to get outside your echo chamber and learn more about the company that you're invested in, this is the video for you. Likewise, if you are considering purchasing Zomedica stock, go ahead and listen through all the way to the end because I've got a lot of information in this video that is not covered in many places online. Let's get into it. What is Zomedica? Clinical veterinarians creating products for clinical veterinarians. Okay, that's nice. Our purpose is to improve companion animal health by increasing the number of successful veterinarians on the planet. Cool. Great. Down here at the bottom, this is their first big product that everybody's super excited about. It's called Truforma, introducing highly sensitive, species-specific assays for diagnosis of thyroid disease in dogs and cats and adrenal disease in dogs. Truforma delivers the accuracy and performance you demand with the convenience and ease of use you need. Complete thyroid and adrenal results within the patient visit mean less stress for pets, pet owners, and the veterinary healthcare team. The system sounds great, right? Initially, that's the feeling you get. Let's talk about the actual TAM, the total addressable market. Let's look at the application for the product. Investor relations, right here, off the bat. This is a red flag for me. Developing a portfolio of novel diagnostics in the $10 billion companion animal market. This right here, $10 billion companion animal market. What is a companion animal? In most cases, we think of a companion animal as a cat or a dog that we keep in the house. This market is typically for people with pets. Now, the market itself includes veterinary services, food, retail goods like toys, that sort of thing, grooming services. That's all included when you talk about the companion animal market. What I thought was strange is that this $10 billion figure is actually conflicted on their website. This is directly from their press release, also from their website. This is from November 13th, 2020. Zomedica sets March 30th, 2021 as the expected commercialization date for Truforma. Great, awesome. We have a date. It's going to be going to sale. And by the way, the product sounds cool. It's using bulk acoustic wave technology developed by Qorvo to provide a non-optical and fluorescence-free detection system for point of care. It's used in cell phones and radar and communication. It's extremely reliable and precise technology. But the diagnostic segment of the global companion animal market is expected to reach $2.8 billion by 2024 from $1.7 billion in 2019, a 9.8% growth rate annually. Right here, we already have a difference. Why is it that in the investor section on their homepage, they're citing the entire market of 10 billion, but in their own letter, they're saying that it's actually for the diagnostic segment, 1.7 billion in 2019. Okay, whatever, give them the benefit of a doubt. If it's growing at 10% per year, I can't do math, but somewhere just shy of 2 billion in 2020 and maybe 2 billion now. So why don't they just put the 2 billion on their website? Why are they misleading us with the 10 billion? I don't know. Now, I also wanted to just double check that 10 billion figure, and it's very reasonable. I went on to Grandview Research and found a couple of studies. One of them saying the global companion animal health market size was valued at 15.9 billion in 2018, expected to see an annual growth rate of 6.1%. This is lower than they're saying, but at least the value is similar. And here's another one from Grandview Research. They're saying that it's expected to reach 25.5 billion by 2026, but the anticipated expansion is a growth rate of 6.1% during the period. So when you consider this is a global growth rate, the number kind of makes sense that they're coming up with 10 billion because America would have a higher allocation into companion animals since they're considered to be a luxury expenditure in most countries. So the 10 billion makes sense, but also this growth rate is much lower than what is being projected by Zomedica. If you're not familiar, Grandview Research is a third-party independent researcher, and they're pretty well received for their non-biased nature in their studies. On the Zomedica page, you could see that this product only diagnoses thyroid disease in dogs and cats and adrenal disease in dogs. That's it. I've seen so much misinformation about this product online. Everybody's saying, oh, it's the size of a shoebox. It replaces an entire laboratory. You get results in 20 minutes. Okay, the 20-minute result thing, yeah, that's true, but it does not even come close to replacing an entire laboratory. It can identify thyroid disease in dogs and cats and adrenal disease in dogs. That's it. End of story. 2 species right there, and just those 3 things. Now, how common are they? The most common types of endocrine disease are hormonal overproduction, hormonal deficiency. Common diseases associated with overproduction are hyperthyroidism in cats and hyperadrenocorticism, Cushing's disease, in dogs. All right, let's read a little more. Hypothyroidism usually occurs in middle-aged, medium to large breed dogs. Inflammation of the thyroid gland, decreased production of thyroid hormones. Consequences are multifactorial due to the many effects, but symptoms typically include low energy, weight gain, tendency to seek out warm places, poor quality coat, skin and ear problems. Treatment consists of replacement of thyroid hormone given orally. You've got thyroid disease, hypothyroid, pretty common in dogs. The thyroid, if you don't know, dogs, cats, humans, it's right about here on your throat, and it's going to be on kind of both sides of the trachea, and doctors can palpate it to feel if it is swollen, inflamed. Now, hyperthyroidism occurs much more often in cats. Feline hyperthyroidism is almost always due to a benign tumor in the thyroid gland. Oh my gosh, tumor, cancer. No, benign tumor. Benign, not malignant, not one that's going to spread, benign. The tumor stimulates the gland to produce too much hormone and causes an upregulation in metabolism, resulting in weight loss, ravenous appetite, increased energy levels, possibly heart disease. The gold standard therapy is radioactive iodine treatment, which is curative in most cases. For hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism, both cases are non-emergency and they're treatable. So far, this doesn't sound like there's a huge need for this product. Now, to be fair, there is potentially a deadly adrenal disease. Now, with Addison disease, hypoadrenocorticism, it is most common in young to middle-aged dogs. Signs of Addison disease include repeated episodes of vomiting and diarrhea, loss of appetite, dehydration, gradual loss of body condition. This can actually present in advanced cases in the veterinary office, and the veterinarian will often be able to diagnose Addison's disease just by talking to the owner about the vomiting, about the diarrhea, about the weight loss. And also, if Addison's disease presents in a severe enough case, a veterinarian is just going to put the dog on IV right away. An adrenal crisis is a medical emergency that requires treatment with IV fluids to restore body fluids, salt, and sugar to normal. Hormone replacement treatment can be started while the pet is being stabilized. Lab values are monitored regularly to assess. Yes, in this one instance, it sounds like the Truforma system would be very good for adrenal crisis in treating Addison's disease. I will absolutely give credit to this system because of the fast processing for the adrenal tests for dogs. It will help with monitoring the hormone levels for treating adrenal disease. Good on them. They do definitely have this. So how common are these situations? How common are these endocrine diseases with dogs and cats? Again, we've got the thyroid in the neck, and then we have the adrenal glands, which are on top of the kidneys. They kind of look like little party hats on top of the kidneys. Gross party hats, but party hats nonetheless. So for dogs, now my source here is veterinary pet insurance. You can guarantee an insurance company is going to get all of their cases right for payments. For dogs, thyroid and adrenal are not even in the top 10. For cats, we have excessive thyroid hormone, which is hyperthyroid. But the thing is, with cats, even if they present with hyperthyroid, most veterinarians are going to easily be able to identify it and diagnose it without needing the test. The veterinarian is going to be able to palpate the issue with their fingertips along the sides of the cat's trachea. Also, the cat is going to appear extremely emaciated, and the owner is probably going to be telling the veterinarian, oh, my cat eats all the time. I don't know why he's so skinny. In either case, with the hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, a day to wait for a blood test has no bearing on the survival of the animal. The animal's going to be fine. A fat dog is still going to be fat a day later for hypothyroidism, and a skinny cat's still going to be skinny a day later for hyperthyroidism. Waiting that time for the lab result doesn't really matter outside of adrenal crisis with Addison's disease. disease. How many potential customers are there? This is Data USA. It's actually a website that's maintained by Deloitte. If you don't know, it's the largest auditing company in the world. So they're saying that in the United States, there is a total workforce of 83,000 veterinarians. I've seen a couple other sources, give or take 10, 20,000, whatever. It doesn't really matter. This is a small number. How many of these 83,000 veterinarians would actually be willing to purchase the TRUFORMA system when basically the best use case is just for identifying Addison's disease and monitoring hormone levels during adrenal crisis in dogs? I don't know. Also, I asked one of my veterinarian friends how much it costs to throw on some endocrinology results onto blood lab work, and he said typically it only adds about $10 per test. So that's not exactly a huge expense, and I imagine the upfront cost is going to be massive for the TRUFORMA system. If you remember, my 4 questions when choosing to invest in a company: who's in charge? What's the product? What are the financials? Who else is involved? Who's in charge? This is Robert Cohen. He's their CEO. He's a seasoned medical device, biotech, pharmaceutical executive with full profit and loss responsibility over the past 14 years, previous departmental management experience in virtually all functional areas. Great, wonderful, qualified guy. I went to the filing of the Form 8K. This is on the sec.gov website. And Mr. Cohen, on January 1st, Zomedica appointed Robert Cohen as the new CEO. Great, okay. Mr. Cohen had served as the company's interim CEO from June 16th, 2020 through his appointment as the CEO. But I remember a price spike as soon as he was named CEO. Why would the price spike happen to that drastic amount when he was already the interim CEO? Let's take a look at the company's press release. So this is their actual press release from their website. Zomedica appoints Robert Cohen CEO. Mr. Cohen brings to Zomedica more than 30 years of executive leadership, blah, blah, blah. Following his tenure, blah, blah, blah. Successful track record. Continue to drive completion. Commercialization. This doesn't mention anything about him already being the interim CEO in here. To their credit, the closest they got is down here, chairman of the board saying over the past 6 months, we've enjoyed collaborating with Rob and been impressed with his business acumen. But it doesn't actually explicitly say that he was already an interim CEO. So it's almost like this company, just like with 10 billion number on the front page, it's almost like they're trying to generate hype artificially to drive the price up. Question 2. What are their products? This is their pipeline. They've got TRUFORMA, ZM020, ZM070. Now, ZM020 is for urine and fecal testing. ZM017 is for circulating tumor cell liquid biopsy for hemangiosarcoma and osteosarcoma. Now, the urine and fecal testing is really, really wonderful. This is something that every laboratory needs, but this is already something that every laboratory has. So that doesn't really add much value. The last one, the CTC, the liquid biopsy, that allows for cancer detection just by using a blood serum, a blood draw. This is new technology in all fields of medicine, and it could be very, very exciting if the company does get this rolling. But there's not much information about how this platform is progressing, so we don't know as investors. Now, it should be worth noting that I did reach out to Zomedica to ask a couple of questions about their products. This is what I got. I sent them an email basically posing as a veterinarian, and I wanted to know, do you have an approximate price point for TRUFORMA and the cartridges? Will there be package sets? How do we order ship lots? Are the ZM020 and ZM017 devices in development separate platforms TRUFORMA, or are they simply software additions that can be incorporated into TRUFORMA with unique assay cartridges? I got a response from Brooke Herbst, who's actually the chief commercialization officer of the company. He's one of the guys in the C-suite. I thought immediately this was a little strange, but when I saw their R&D budget, I realized they actually don't have very many employees, so this kind of makes sense. He was very polite, very professional, and he directed me to the area sales director. The area sales director responded to me the next day. Thank you for reaching out to us. He wants to call me to talk about TRUFORMA. I said, I don't really need a call. I just want my email questions answered. He sounds like a typical sales guy. He's trying to get me on the phone, talk to me about the product, whatever. That's fine. Long story short, they didn't answer any of my questions, but if they do, I will release an email update later this week. I was really trying to find more information about their products, and this is as close as I got. This was a news release from December 20th, 2018. They mentioned their diagnostic pipeline, ZM024, and this is for thyroid adrenal disorders. It's a platform. This is TRUFORMA. We have the pathogen detection. This is the urinalysis and fecal analysis. ZM020, ZM017. This is the CTC liquid biopsy. This is great. But then I saw this at the bottom, therapeutic pipeline, ZM007, 007, 012, 006, 011, diarrhea in dogs, hyperthyroidism in cats, behavioral disorders in cats. These were like 4 different therapeutics that were in their pipeline, and there's no mention of them on their website. None whatsoever. I was really super confused with this because I know that this first one, acute diarrhea for small dogs, this is a big issue, and I thought, oh, this is a great product. Why can't I find any information on it? So I went to the FDA website and I did an advanced search. I put in every search parameter I could think of, and I found nothing for Zomedica on the FDA website for the therapeutics. Okay. I ended up finding this article announcing their name change in October. Zomedica Corp, formerly Zomedica Pharmaceuticals Corp, a veterinary health company creating point-of-care diagnostic products for companion animals, announced it changed its legal name to Zomedica Corp. The company's trading symbol will remain blah, blah, blah. Come down here from Robert Cohen, the interim CEO. Given Zomedica's current focus on diagnostic platforms, specifically the commercialization of Truforma, we believe it important at this time to simplify our corporate name. Oh, they just kind of gave up on the therapeutics and decided to change their name. There were no other press releases about the therapeutics just going by the wayside. Okay. I mean, on one hand, the company's not doing well financially and they do have to focus on one thing, so I get it. I get that they're focusing on the diagnostics, but they just kind of stopped talking about the therapeutics. That's a little weird. Now, it's also important to recognize they do have competition. Zoetis, ZTS, $168 a share, market cap of almost 80 billion. This is a massive pharmaceutical and diagnostic company. And they don't just offer products for companion animals, but they also offer products for livestock and genetic testing. So this is a future-looking company. The reason that I bring this up, they don't have a device that's exactly like Truforma, but they offer blood testing that can give the same results at a slower rate than Truforma does. They also offer rapid testers, fecal infections, and for urinalysis. Zoetis already has fast treatment devices for some of what Zomedica already has in the pipeline. Also, this is from Siemens. This is one of their countertop labs. Does it look familiar? Yes, it's a little bigger than a shoebox like Zomedica's Truforma, but it's still everything you need right here. Features of this. We have different assays for all of these different things, including thyroid, specifically canine and veterinary, and there's also metabolic down here too. So it's not exactly the same, but it's a similar product and it technically does more. Yes, I know the technology is different. It doesn't use the same acoustic wave technology, but it's still a very diverse, already existing thing from a strong company. Next question. What are their financials? So this is from their third quarter earnings report. Net loss, comprehensive loss, 1 cent per share, 4 cents per share, 3, 16 for it's just negative the whole way across. The R&D expenses are increasing compared to year on year last year. And they even say this increase resulted from a milestone expense of $2 million pursuant to our development and supply agreement with Corvo. R&D experiences are rising, leading up to the focus on Truforma and its release. Now that brings us to the actual stock. So here we are, Zom. It's trading right now at 48 cents a share. Market cap is only 273 million. This is not a very large market cap. If we take a look, the trading volume is quite high, 283 compared to the average of 83. So this is a liquid stock. That's really good. You're less likely to get stuck in your position. Down here we have earnings, miss, probably gonna miss. Financials, revenue, none. Earnings, negative. That makes sense with the company not really having any products. That 48 cents a share actually got me a little concerned that they were going to be delisted. They don't trade on NASDAQ. They trade on the New York Stock Exchange American, which is a very lax index. They don't have restrictions that are as stringent. That being said, they still gave Zomedica a notice of delisting on April 10th. The New York Stock Exchange American permits the exchange to delist a security if it trades at a low price for a substantial period of time. As a matter of policy, the American considers a price below 20 cents to be a low price. Now, I went on their actual website. This is for the New York Stock Exchange American non-compliant issuers. This is current as of the recording of the video. Down here at the bottom, Zomedica Pharmaceuticals, it's still not in compliance according to the exchange. All that being said, I really don't think this is in danger of being delisted. The NYSE American has really, really lax standards. Now, I went on the SEC Edgar search and I read through all of these 8Ks, 10Qs, the effects, correspondence. I went through all of this. I've already highlighted the most important stuff regarding the stock itself. Now, this is its chart, and you could see it was downtrending, dropped below 20 cents. It was down there for a pretty long time. This was shocking to me. The shares outstanding, 550.5 million. That is an absolutely astronomical amount of shares outstanding, especially considering the market cap is like 240 million. That's like half the market cap for the shares outstanding. That's absolutely crazy. Immediately I thought, oh, was there a stock split? Zomedica has 0 splits in the stock split history. Okay, so it's not a stock split. And then I started reading down through these updates. I answered my own question, why there are so many shares. $30 million public offering, $20 million public offering, $4 million public offering, 2.5 million direct offering. You can see every time they need money, they just sell more shares. And this has a very dilutive effect where the shares that are already outstanding basically become worthless. And each time they do this, they have to sell more and more shares because the shares are worthless and they need to raise the money. Actually, if you go on to FinViz and you go to their screener, sort by shares outstanding over 500 million, and then you do a reverse sort by market cap, out of the 372 companies that are publicly traded that meet these criteria, over 500 million shares, Zomedica Corporation is number 1 in the lowest market cap with over 500 million shares. We did it! Number 1! Yeah! So this is not actually something that you want to be number 1 in. Also interesting, this is from the Edgar SEC website. We can see these top people, the C-suite, Ann Cotter, Robert Cohen, Stephanie Morley, Brooke Herbst, they are getting compensated with share options. And if we just like click on any of them, here, I'll click on Brooke Herbst here. You could see the number of securities that are transacted. It's absolutely just astronomical. 3 million. At the end of the year, he got 6 million shares. Before that, here's another million. Before that, here's another 100,000. And the list goes on and on. Stephanie Morley, straight down, 2.5. They issue these share options to their C-suite like they're candy. The CEO, 12 million, 2 million. If you go through and you add up all of these shares that are transacted as payment, you get a number that's pretty close to about 100 million. If and when these shares get exercised, this is going to have a massively dilutive effect on the stock price. It's going to push it down so much. My last question, who's involved? So right here, you could see all of the different investors. This is actually a lot of pretty big name investor groups here. You know, JP Morgan Chase, Vanguard's in for 10 million shares. And ordinarily you would think, oh my gosh, Vanguard has 10 million shares in this company. That's crazy. But look at the value. They got in when the share price was around 10 cents a share. And I honestly feel like for Vanguard, this was kind of a, let's see what happens type play for them. Right now, it's like 48 cents a share. So Vanguard has already quadrupled its value in the company. For mutual funds, we have Fidelity also, USAA, big name companies. Also, we can't forget the company's new spokesperson.
They have a product called TrueForma that's coming out in March of 2021. And they think it's going to be a really big seller.
I'm joking. I really don't think she's the spokesperson, but somebody probably paid her to do that endorsement and then hyped it up online. What's my takeaway here? I think Zomedica is trying to do everything they can to keep their company afloat until TrueForma comes out. And people need to realize once TrueForma comes out, that does not mean the company becomes profitable. They're spending so much money on R&D to develop their other platforms for urinalysis and fecal analysis and the CT liquid biopsy that they're probably not going to be profitable for a while. Having some revenue is better than having no revenue, so that's good. I think that this stock will rise in price a little bit upon the release of TrueForma, but you have to remember at any point these C-suite executives can exercise their shares and it's going to massively dilute the stock price even further. I think this is a risky play, and quite honestly, I won't be buying any shares of this company unless it drops back down to about 20 cents. If it goes down to about 20 cents, I know there's pressure to keep it above 20 cents because of the threat of being delisted, so the company's going to do everything it can, all the PR tricks that it could possibly do to keep that share price up and keep the hype going. So if it does drop down to 20 cents, I think I will enter for about 1,000 shares, and I'm just going to ride this until about a week before TrueForma is released, and then I'm done, and then I'm out. I think there is stupid money to be made here. Now, to be clear, I don't mean a lot of money. I mean people are going to be putting their money into this without understanding what they're investing in. So there's stupid stupid money to be made here. If you do want to invest in this, do so at your own risk. You know my position on it. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found this informative. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on the alarm bell. Also, if you're new to investing, I have my Robinhood and Webull referral links below the video. Please go ahead and check them out. If you sign up using those referral links, you get a free stock, I get a free stock. Everybody's happy. I'll see you later. Thanks for stopping by.